Good morning, everybody. How are you doing? I hope you're well.
Let's say morning, should we? Just to start off with.
Yeah, because obviously everybody keeps on saying what's going on with the breakfast. So there you go. That is us. I'm just going to try and
No, I'm thinking without the good in front.
just say morning.
Just say morning. Cause
It is
honest to
amazing.
God, the overkill that's going on right now is doing my noggin in.
Absolutely, yeah. It is the doom and gloom post the apocalypse, I think. But before we go into like I say, it never rains until it pours scenario. Let's do the housework.
Literally.
Welcome to all that's watching across all the platforms. Thanks to all the mods working tirelessly in the background. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoy the show. And obviously, even if you don't, hit the dislike button. It just gets us further as a channel to other NUFC supporters. Subscribe, it's totally free. And oh, it's free. I need to get my teeth in. Hit the bell for future content because obviously we do 7 days a week content. So if you hit that bell, you will get notifications. And if you want to support us, then you can become a member for a small monthly fee. That gives you behind the scenes content and also a chance of winning prizes at the end of each month. Don't forget to check out our webpage, nufctalk.tv. That's totally ad free. Win does a little bit as we get the information through. He'll put the content on there. So it's a nice way of just relaxing, having a read, and from that, you'll get the information as we get it. If you've got a question, then put a Q in front of the question just so we can talk about it. It just helps us find it easily within the chat. But again, apologies if we don't mention everybody's viewing, because you guys like to discuss things behind the scenes. But we will do our best to put the relevant stuff up on the screen and answer it as we go. But if you want to guarantee it, then use the dollar sign and we'll read that message out. All new members and gifted memberships will be highlighted as we go. So, obviously, I started the show as it never rains until it pours. And it seems that way, doesn't it? Because obviously this morning there I was, 9 o'clock, cup of tea in hand, waiting for the press conference the for the Wimbledon game. And as our luck has it, because at the end of the day, what Eddie Howe would probably want is to get something to get a chance to get his lads working. Because obviously, as we've seen in the past couple of days, um, the lads aren't playing well. So it would have been a great way.
Understatement.
Yeah, it would have been a great
Understatement
way.
alert.
Duh, duh, duh. It would have been a great way of us obviously getting rid of that.
What
Yeah, there you
TV
go.
series used to say, stand by for action at the beginning? Stingray, 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 Stingray. Diddle-diddle-diddle-diddle.
Yeah, absolutely. To be fair, I do feel like a bit of a puppet, I must admit. Um,
Jerry Anderson, Stingray. Aye, happy
yeah,
days.
there you go. That's one from the past, isn't it? Stingray. Used to quite like that. So this morning, as we were waiting for the press conference, a little video dropped on X, and this is that video. And I was a bit shocked, to be fair, but here we go.
That's the
Don't know
corner
whether
of the
you can see
pitch.
that. Yeah, and then obviously you can see at the side it is literally totally underwater. And apparently the river has burst the banks with the amount of rain that they've got down at Wimbledon, which isn't grand. So I was like, oh my god, what are we going to do? And then I started to look at where is this game going to be venued then? Because obviously we have got this problem of a congested fixture list. So I went on to have a look at Wimbledon's fixtures, and obviously up on Sky, it turns around and tells you that the Wimbledon versus Newcastle game has been postponed. But then you've got the weekend, they've got Accrington Stanley at home. So obviously that's going to have to be rearranged. Then a week on Tuesday, they've got Crew at home. So obviously that's going to be rearranged. Because I cannot see, if I'm honest, these guys being able to fix that pitch as quickly, or if they do, it's going to be a really hard task to play on it because the pitch itself is absolutely well. The one lad stated on another video that it looks more like or resembles more like a golf course, which I found a little bit on the. It was a bit shocking to the eye to see, actually. You know, when you look at all this stuff, you think to yourself, well, it can't be that
Third
bad.
bunker in the penalty area.
Yeah, it can't be that bad. But actually, I'll put it up on the screen and you can see what you think yourself. So, what do you? What I mean, where do you think we go now regarding this fixture win?
No idea. You know, I mean, what I would imagine is that the Carabao Cup fixture. Oh,
it looks like a golf course.
They can't play. They won't play it. Oh yeah.
It's shocking, isn't it?
Look at that line.
Look how it fits all of the.
It looks like a golf course.
They can't play.
It is so bad, I must admit. And like I say, the chances of playing on there for a couple of weeks is virtually impossible, I would say.
Oh, I don't know. That was my old game. That muck shift.
Really?
Well, yeah, I take 20 minutes with a good machine man on that to get it all flat and level again.
Yeah, but then you've got to bed the grass in.
Yeah, well, you could even lay turf on the top for a match. There's no stipulation regarding the actual surface. So other than that, it has to be grass.
Yeah, and it has to be safe. And that's what I said.
It has to be safe. Yeah,
exactly. And that's what I'm saying. If you think of how long, even if you were to whack some turf down on there, the amount of time turf needs to bed in with its roots, you're going to get clumps and clumps of grass, literally lifting up.
No. But trust me, I've done massive, motorway embankments and all the rest, and do the groundwork, put the heavy rollers on, and you can have turf laid there in no time at all.
So you don't think that's going to be an issue then? See, I do. I think
the cost could be an issue, because to do it quickly, obviously, the more quickly you want to do it, the more machinery you have to employ, and it makes the task that much bigger. You've also got the problem of, for to do it in the quickest possible manner, you would need access to the pitch for big machines. No, they could actually, you could crane them and drop them in, because I wouldn't have thought that there would be anywhere on they've probably got sufficient. They've probably got a bit like our Milburn John Hall corner where you have the tunnel that comes on the pitch. That's wide enough to get, say, a tractor through with a lawnmower attachment on the back, or a big lawnmower through, but it's not big enough to get, a Cat D10 through, or the type of rolling equipment you would need to do what I'm talking about quickly in a hurry. However, that all costs money. And absolutely. How much money? But what I would think would happen is that the Carabao fixture would take precedence over any Div 2 matches that have to be rearranged. So the first available date would go to us, if you like. But again, depending on how long that takes, by then we could have a fixture backlog from the following round, and so on and so forth. It's a weird problem, and God forbid that it leads to us having a similar situation to what we had last December, where we had to play 10 games in 30 days.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which was a significantly contributory factor in what happened to us last season when we fell off the cliff. Yeah. Albeit we appear to have a much stronger squad now than we did then in terms of injuries. There's really only well, we've got Wilson out, who should be back by then. For how long, we'll never know, of course. Botman potentially could be back. I don't think Lascelles will be back yet.
Well, they certainly won't rush the lads back, will they?
No, so what I'm saying is we're much better off this year than we were last year in terms of personnel.
Yeah, exactly. Fixtures and personnel is certainly on our side, but it's a bit of a crazy one to think that we aren't actually pulling any great strings, are we? And that's what I said. For me, this would have been a perfect opportunity to have got the lads out there and playing football. Now, we all know that potentially, putting out there a weaker side is a banana skin or a potential banana skin. Looking at that pitch, it's going to be more than a banana skin. But for me, the best way of going into the next game is by having a win under your belt and getting a bit of confidence. We all saw, or I don't know whether anybody watched the game yesterday, but we all saw what Man City can do. I know they were only playing against 10 men, but it was constant pressure put on the Arsenal goal to the point where, obviously, 98th minute, as typical Man City do, they come up with a goal from John Stones. So, for us, it is going to be a case of, getting.
Lee McFarlane obviously knows a thing or two about earth movements. A D10, Christ, when it's only a pitch, not a quarry. Well, I've done lots of quarrying as well, by the way, Lee. And what I'm saying is, if you want it done in a hurry, you've got to you'll have to take I'm thinking in terms of taking a meter down and then a meter rebuild.
Yeah. But I mean, I know nothing about D10s or anything like what you've just been talking about. That's not my background. I mean, I've seen some of the earth movers on the pitches just to take the top layer off and getting it flat and everything else. And I know, the big guys.
I mean, Lee's right. D10 would be overkill, but
yeah, I know what you're saying. But what I'm saying is the fact that you talking about the cost. And it's got to be a massive cost implication.
No, I'm talking about the speed
for the likes of Wimbledon. Yeah, but that's what I said. To hire all this stuff in, it's going to be a massive cost implication. Isn't it?
Absolutely.
And I think that's where we're going to see an issue. But for me, like I say, it's a shame that the lads it's been cancelled, because to me that is typical Newcastle as we speak. Just when you've got the opportunity to put things right and go with a bit of confidence, it's not there anymore. So it is back to the drawing boards. And like I say, the day is absolutely awful out there. I don't know what it's like. I mean, I'm in Warwickshire, and it's crazy. So apparently,
I was saying just
worse.
before we came on, I was saying I've actually had to shut the blinds and put my studio lighting on because the light, normally daylight, it's not a problem for filming.
For what you're doing, yeah.
But it was just grainy as hell.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it wasn't even worth opening the curtains today. It was just so bad. Taking the kids to school this morning was horrendous because they're digging all the road up. And yesterday, what I said to you the other week, I was having terrible trouble with my internet because the workers are on the top of the streets. Well, have a guess what? Yesterday, luckily, it was okay, but my missus noticed that there was traffic lights, three-way system at the top of the streets. And the same place they've dug up already twice before, they've dug up again. So yesterday afternoon, I had nothing, no internet whatsoever for about 4 hours. And I was like, oh, no. And like I say, when we were doing the review last night, I'm thinking, please come back on. And what had happened is obviously because of all the rain, it had filled the void that they'd made, and some of the water had infiltrated some of the wiring, apparently. So it was a bit of a show yesterday, but luckily, I mean, I managed to get my internet back, having complained to Virgin a few times to get it sorted. So hopefully we don't get any more issues today. So there you go. My internet seems good today, so we'll see if it continues. Going on from obviously what we've done, and obviously we did the review show, and I was talking about where we are as a team, defensive unit, midfield unit, and so on. So today I've had a quick look at where we stand regarding stats across the field. So I looked at as I do the Opta sessions and just to see where we come across regarding that. And like I say, it's not horrible reading, but obviously it's not great reading. So as you can see, I've started it on defending. So I'm just going to pop it down there so you guys can see. And when you go onto it, you've got us, 6 goals conceded, and XG. So if you look at goals per XG versus XG, you can see we go all the way down to the bottom. And it's not too bad because we've got some big hitters here. So you look at it and you think, oh crikey, we're defending okay. It's not too bad. But then you start to say to yourself, where's it going wrong? Because for us, when you look at the amount of shots we're having on goal, at the minute, Arsenal have had 90 shots, but I mean, obviously that would have taken in Man City game yesterday, where for a lot of the time they were bombarded. And then obviously you've got the conversion rate, which is here. So it's not great. And I mean, you can see here, goals in the box, we're at 100%. Shots in the box, we're at 68%. So when you go into the passing scale of things, when you look at where we are, when you look at total passes, so this is where I look at the team, because I always think when you look at all passes, you look at it and all of a sudden we disappear. So we are literally just below mid-table when it comes to passes. But then you go on to the successful passes, and when you have a look, we're again in the same position. So that to me tells me straight away that there's an issue of us containing the ball and not, losing the ball. I mean, obviously Man City, even Southampton are doing reasonably well, up there with the likes of Liverpool and Man United and Tottenham, Chelsea. So Southampton are actually passing the ball really well. When you go into the final third, and you look, so total passes again, we are still in the same position. So this is obviously when we've got the ball up, and the successful side of it, when you come back down, we've moved up a couple of paces, but not massively. But this is one thing that I was, because obviously Eddie gets criticised about passing the ball backwards. So if you look at our conversion rate when it comes to passing the ball backwards, the team's obviously at the top. I mean, Man City are always going to be up there, and the big boys, because they want to retain possession of the ball. But when you look at where we are at the bottom, and it just proves we only pass the ball backwards 38% of the time. So I'm still not saying that's great, but there's obviously time that they go back. Now, for me, when you look at the likes of Man City, Wolves, Southampton,
is that middle one sideways?
So this is left and right here. This is backwards. That's forward. So if you have a look when we go backwards, right?
So are they saying you? Well, obviously they're not. Well, I don't know. If you add 34, 14, 45, 72, 98, right? So if you add all those 4 figures, they all come to 100%. So all you're saying there is forwards, backwards.
Yeah. So here it's forwards, backwards,
left and right.
So
here's the question with these stats in particular, because I don't know how they do them, obviously. If a pass goes forward and left, is it counted as a forward pass or a left pass?
Well,
are we saying that left and right are both virtually sideways passes?
When you look here and you go left, which we know we dominate. As you can see, we're second in the group. So we say we favour our left-hand side. So straight away, you can see from this, we have got a team that dominates left-hand side. Everton are just above us.
No, not really, do we? Because the right-hand side's 24% there for us.
Well, That's what I'm saying. But when you look at it on the screen, right, 24% to 38%. So you can see we
No, but
dominate.
that, hang on, no, you're comparing forward to right there.
Yeah,
What I'm
but that's
saying
what
is, if you add all of those four figures, they should come, but they don't with us, do they? Because
don't.
that's
No.
35, 35, 70, 70 and 40 is 110%. So that doesn't work there.
No. But what I'm saying to you is what but like you've just said, forward and to each side is going to change slightly, isn't it? Because it's not just going to be through the middle all the time. So you are going to
Right,
get some
okay.
type of
In which
movement
case,
to the left.
I'm trying to establish what these stats are supposed to be showing us. What are you saying that these are showing us?
So it's just showing you where we go. Look, on the backwards scale, we pass the ball backwards 15% of the time. We
Is that
pass
not
the ball
30?
to the left. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Well, wait a minute then. Wait a minute. No, that is 100% then. If that's 15, I thought it was 35. Sorry.
No, it's 15.
So
So
35, 15 is 50, and 22, 24, 46. Add the fractions up. No, so you've got 100% over add those four together, and you've got 100%.
I see what you mean. Now, I don't look at the 100% mark. I just look at the amount they're passing in one direction. So, as this tells me, they're putting the ball forward in a lot more times than we do backwards, left or right. So they're trying to get the ball progressing up to Isaac.
Right. So what I'm
38% of
saying
the
to
time.
you is that I'm sorry and all that, Gary. What I'm saying is you're wrong, because they are making the decision on whether the pass is a forward pass, a left pass, or a right
Yeah.
pass, because they all are, if you add them all together, it comes to 100%.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you is a left pass to these could be a square ball.
So right,
Anywhere on the
right,
spot.
okay. So now we're cooking on gas, right? Now we're cooking on gas,
Yeah.
because this is what I think. Because sideways passes, in other words,
Yeah.
if you add the 22 and the 24 together, 46%.
Yeah.
Half of the passes that we make, which is what I see with my eyes,
Yeah.
go
Is left and right.
sideways.
Yeah.
Go sideways. 35%, 15% go for only 15% go forward, 35% go back, 46%, 50% nearly go sideways. And that's the problem.
Yeah. But if you, what I'm
And
saying to you is,
when you then take into account
if you look at the likes of Liverpool,
how
it's exactly the
successful
same,
we are at doing that, which
right?
is not very.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it's ball retention, and this is what I said. Ball retention is a must. So whether you go forwards, backwards, left or right, it makes no difference. What I'm trying to say is if you have a look at the likes of Liverpool, exactly the same figures, more or less, left and right. You have a look at Chelsea, more or less the same figures, because they all they're looking for is ball retention. What I was looking for is how many times we try and keep the ball going backwards. And it's one of the few. Everybody else is the big teams will go up to 17%. You got me? Chelsea, 16%. Man City, 18% of the time, because it's about having trust in the players behind you. Now, I think one of the biggest problems we have when we haven't got direct ball players, and obviously the only one in the back for the weekend, well, say the only two, you could say that you could trust in the back four to lay a ball off, would have been Fabian Schär and Trippier. We all expect Kelly to be, good with his feet, but he looked completely off the ball the weekend. So all I'm trying to say is I'm trying to get rid of the myth that we always seem to want to go backwards. We're one of the least that go backwards compared to others. Now, is that a confidence thing? So when you go on to our forward passing, our forward XG, when you look at the goals conversions here, we've had 56 shots. Now, when you look at the rest of the team, I'll put that on. Look where we fall regarding shots at goal. And look who's at the bottom of the league. Apart from Arsenal, for some unknown reason, I would have expected them to be looking directly higher up the park. But obviously, they're not just shooting on sight. They're trying to keep the ball all, tidy, and only literally then when they've got a clear shot on goal, they'll
typical Arteta, tippy-tappy.
Absolutely, tiki-taka football. But again, when you look at the teams around us, there's a lot of teams in the bottom three. So is that a concern? So all I'm trying to highlight here is the fact that to score goals, you need to shoot. And there's lots of teams above us that are actually getting more shots off than we are. So looking at the conversion rate to the shots, thanks Harvey Barnes, I think, for this, because Harvey Barnes, with what we've got, I mean, I know we've had a couple of shots blocked and stuff like that, but we're up just in the, what was it, 2, 4, 6, 7, but in 7th place. So even though we're not taking as many shots, we are actually up there regarding shots on the conversion percentage. And then when you go up to the conversion rate, again, like I said, getting them on target, you're actually you're up there with the big guns, as I call it. And the only, I say that Brentford is probably the only team in there that you would look at and go, wow, they're having a decent season.
Down to Mr. Mbuemo.
But then again, you've got Southampton just behind us, look. So as you can see, and again, that's probably against us has given them the uplift because obviously playing against 10 men, we were on the back foot a little bit. So all I'm saying to you is when you look at all this, is you can see a pattern. You can see a pattern that's obviously not getting the ball high enough in the pitch. We aren't getting any service to the likes of Isak to actually convert any of the chances. So it just shows you the fact that we don't always look going backwards. But again, is it a confidence thing? Is it a confidence thing about retaining the ball and trying to get the ball upfield quicker than we need to? Is creating the mistakes because we're doing the percentage balls more?
No, I think it's just incompetence.
You just think it's incompetence?
The reason we're not creating the chances is because we're not retaining the ball in midfield. Well, right. When we did the player scores and you were doing the stats last night, the number of times that we're losing the ball is unacceptable. Dispossessed, 15, 16s, 18, 6s, 7s and half a game. It's too many. You cannot do it in the Premier League. You cannot turn the ball over effectively, which is what we are doing in midfield on a regular basis in dangerous positions. We're turning the ball over, and I don't need up their stats to tell me that. I can see it with my own eyes.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you is, if we're trying to force play forward, you've got more chance of losing the ball rather than playing the way you.
But I don't think we are trying to force the ball forward. I think
you could see yesterday with Bruno's misdirected pass that was deflected.
That was kind of.
But that was just trying to get.
That was just trying to keep winning the game and get the equaliser.
Yeah, but he's tried a ball there that obviously is a percentage ball. That's what I'm saying, and that's like a knee-jerk reaction. I know we need to get the ball up the other end. He sees our right back that's got free, and he's tried a percentage ball across so we can move the ball forward. And that's what I'm saying. There's lots of little question marks about where we're going wrong. And like I say, these stats don't lie. Even though we see a different game, that's what I said. You've got to marry both up to get it right. But it just proves on an even keel, we'll rather go left and right rather than go backwards. And that to me is a concern, because it sounds to me as if there's no confidence in the lads getting the ball and playing the right ball out of defence, as the other big teams do. So, like I said, there's certainly something that we need to be looking at. Are you smiling? What are you smiling at?
I'm just forgot listen. They're saying in the chat that all these probably
statistics, because look, you were working on the 100%. I don't look at the
100%. I've got them befuddled, and who's joining in the crack when they're all saying they're befuddled? Who do you think's joining in the chat?
Well, of course. Yeah. But that's what I said. Stats are very awkward, but you learn a lot more from how the team are playing when you start looking into stats. And like I say, I don't look at the 100% mark like you did,
Yeah.
and I just look at figures where we
No,
go
no, but
left and
I'm
right
saying you
and down.
without, for example, even realizing that those four figures all added up to 100%, which is what struck me instantly, being a bit of a statistician that I am. What you're saying is that every pass is either left, right,
Right.
forward, or back. So who's
Yeah.
making that decision?
Well,
And
that's what I'm
again,
saying.
as
It
somebody else pointed out in the chat here somewhere, you know, they would class a 2-yard pass forward as a forward pass, which isn't
Yeah.
necessarily helping the
I
overall.
disagree with that. If you know, it doesn't matter the yardage of the ball, is if it's going in the right direction to one of our players. Well, yeah, I'll give you an argument for that then. Isak got the ball and gave a 2-yard pass to Murphy, who was clean through. So why isn't it? Why is that not something that you need to be figuring into the equation?
Well, yes, it is in that situation. But if Longstaff gives a 2-yard pass to Trippier and he's, 2 yards forward, but Trippier surrounded by 3 players, so his next pass is 3
Backwards.
yards back.
Yeah, well, it's retention of the ball. This is what I said. The opposition cannot score if you've got the ball. We
know that, and so that gets back to what I said. Our problem is we can't retain the ball.
Yeah.
That's what it's as simple as that. There's something fundamentally wrong at the minute with everybody, and as our illustrious leader alluded to many times now, when 2 or 3 players are having a bad game, it's down to the players. When everybody's having a bad game, it's down to the manager. And so, inevitably, we've got to start pointing the finger towards Eddie, and it's up to Eddie to get his act together and get it in question. But it's still too much overkill at the minute for me. Let's give him a chance. For me, he's got plenty of credit in the bank. Let's see where we go.
Yeah. I say what was glaring for me was the fact that we are one of the lowest at passing back, which screams that we've got less confidence in the lads at the back to pass or to keep the ball. And that's what I was alluding to, is the fact that if we're trying to force the ball forward early at the wrong times because the channels aren't quite there. And we saw that with Longstaff when he gave the ball away against Wolves. It was a channel ball that maybe could have gone right, would have been the better solution. Or even, like I say, dropping it back 5 yards for Bruno to run on. And that's what I'm saying. To me, it looks like the lads are being forced to move the ball forwards, and maybe we need to look at that somewhere else.
I just think we've lost the intensity. We've lost our identity. We have lost the press that was so successful for us.
Yeah. But there's definitely something gone wrong.
To me, if you're going to play 4-3-3, first of all, he's got to decide which his best 4 is, which his best 3 is, and which his best 3 is, and stick with it. And then they've all got to be attuned. They've all got to be, because he doesn't want to play with a CDM. So all 3 have to be prepared to go forwards and come back. And we know that's obviously physically demanding. So he needs to pick the 3 that he thinks are most capable of doing that, and da-di-da-di-da. And if he doesn't, he'll be out on his ear. It's as simple as that.
Oh, absolutely.
It's the results that will decide.
Absolutely. And that's what I was saying. It is all about...
Come next Sunday, when we're all celebrating the victory over Man City, all of a sudden, Eddie will be the greatest thing since sliced bread again.
And
fickle fans.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing, obviously, I was just going to whack up is obviously my screen that shows you where we are dominating and where we're not dominating the ball in the park. Now, obviously, this has been updated, and as you can see, it is quite hard read. Left-hand side dominant. A little bit more on the right-hand side since we've had Harvey Barnes and Gordon, even though they're playing quite poorly. But as you can see, the uncontested part, which is heavily on the left side of midfield and left wing, left back position. Again, dominant, apparently, in front of goal. Didn't look that dominant to me. But again, nothing here, which to me screams as though we're just not getting the support from the midfield and the supply to Isak at all. And as you can see, the full-back areas absolutely outplayed.
Or that to look at the pink in their penalty area, or because we're dominant on the left wing and on the right wing, it means we are getting the ball in the middle, but being dominated once the ball gets into the middle because Isak isn't doing his job.
Yeah, but like I say, this is what I said. We can all see it with our eyes, and this is just giving you guys a chance to have a look at exactly the areas that we have been very good, but obviously you can see a hell of a lot of uncontested parts where we're just not in the game, and I think that's the issue. But I mean, obviously, we're just going to have to see how Eddie comes from this and gets the game sorted on the field, because for me, it is a definite struggle at this present moment in time.
It's a mess right now. It's a mess.
Yeah.
Especially when we're getting the final third ball pass left to right outside their box until we lose it over and over again, which we wish we'd stop that. And this guy, when we were successful doing what we're doing, if you remember, we always had the big press, huge press up everybody on everybody, and we would get the ball ultimately, and it would be in their top right-hand corner where Trips, Miggy, Bruno and Longstaff would have those little triangles going on there, which would invariably result in a chance for somebody in the middle. And that pressure now, when they are taking goal kicks, when we used to, tight man mark their defenders, so they had to pass it they either had to go long, which suited us, having Big Dan at the back, or he had to pass it to one of the guys who's in the penalty area where we're not allowed to be, and he had to decide what he was going to do with it. And with me, especially with his pace, hitting those players, how many goals did we get from here? He wasn't credited with an assist or a goal, but it was his perseverance and persistence which created the chance that we benefited from.
Yeah, it's true. Like I say, there ain't a lot of news out there, apart from a couple of things. Just on stats, William Asula apparently became the 269th different player to appear for Newcastle in the Premier League, and the third born in Denmark, following John Dahl Thomason and Peter Lovenkrantz. 269th player to have played for Newcastle in the Premier League. That's a number I thought it was going to be a lot more than that, to be fair.
Well, I wonder, just out of interest, let's have a quick look. How many games in total have Newcastle played in the Prem? Let me just look that up.
In the Premier League?
Aye.
Yeah, crikey. It's going to be a few, isn't it?
It's going to be a few. I was just going to do the sum divided by the 269 and see on average how many games per player.
Yeah. And then you've got another stat here. He's a third Premier League goal of the season. He's as many games for Harvey Barnes. Was his 8th in our colours in that competition. That total matches Philip Albert, Kieran Clark, Lee Clark, Duncan Ferguson, Tamori Kitsbaya and Matt Ritchie. Harvey's goal was timed at 28 seconds after the half started, quicker than Alexander Isak's FA Cup strike, which was 30 seconds into the second half at the Mackems in January, but less rapid than the Callum Wilson 25 seconds effort in the Premier League at West Ham back in April 23. The Cottagers defeated Newcastle in the Premier League for the first time in 10 attempts. Since a single goal success back in March 2014, the current Blythe Spartans manager, David Stockdale, kept a clean sheet for the Fulham that day, while current Magpie Dan Burn was a late arrival from the bench for the home side. So there you go. A couple of stats from that game. Nothing spectacular shouts out. Have you got the figures in front of you now before we go on to the next?
Appearances by club. Yeah, we'll go my football facts.
Your football facts. I'm sure somebody will be in the shout. I guess around 850. Craig Lee has said. It's possibly right.
Well, Man United have played 6-3-2, so presumably Arsenal will have played the same. Oh no, this is just by player.
Yeah, I was going to say you're gonna have to be a little bit specific on that one because I think everybody's going to be. Yeah, Foxy says Trippier had about 7 or 8 assists by December last season. Majority were from Miggy's movement, like the Man U 1-0. Yeah, I can see there being a little reshuffle in the camp. Just going on to the under-21s, there's been an update on the coach arrival. Newcastle search for an under-21s coach looks to be over, with the Daily Record reporting that St Mirren, the assistant manager there, Dermot O'Carroll, is set to be appointed. A compensation deal with the Scottish Premier side for the 37-year-old native of Killarney is reported to have been reached, and O'Carroll was absent on Saturdays as the Buddies defeated Hearts 2-1. Ex-Magpie midfielder Brian Kerr assisted St Mirren boss Stephen Robinson in that game and is to be expected to inherit that role. So there you go. There's a Brian Kerr. Remember him? Magpie midfielder.
Brian Kerr.
Yeah. He was going to go into the role of O'Carroll when he comes to do the under-21s. And to be fair, looking at our academy players, they're not having an easy time of it at the moment. And there's obviously again, we don't know what's going on, but it seems as though bad play, bad coaching, whatever you want to call it, he's absolutely ripping through the entire team. There was a narrow defeat for the under-18s against Wolves under-18s. And it's now just 1 point from a possible 15 for Newcastle United's under-18 side this season. So really poor.
There we go. Got it.
From Conor McLeod at Little Benton on Saturday. And obviously there's lots of fitness issues and scheduling for an under-21s game. And that's obviously done a lot to the lineup where players come and go for playing, obviously, for the older teams. Like the likes of Sanusi and stuff like that are all being banded around. But Ndwini, the younger brother of former Magpies Michael and Ryan, was included in that game. Ethan Ndwini. So, like I say, they're not having a great time. And obviously, I said before, the under-21s had a defeat against West Ham, a 1-0 on Friday evening. And like I say, a lot of huff and puff. I did say that Harrison played. It wasn't. It was Emerson. I was getting confused with. Harrison stayed on the bench. He wasn't picked. It was Emerson.
Right. So here we have it. This is up to Saturday or up to the weekend. Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, and Tottenham have all played 1,233 Premiership games. Man City 1,043. Everton have also played 1,233. Newcastle have played 1,115. And now you were saying that Asula was our what player? 269, did you say?
It was 269. I'm sure I said, 269.
So 1,115 divided by 269. So that would mean, on average, they've each played 4 games. So there must be when you consider some of the players who've had many games in the Prem, we must have an awful lot who've only played 1 or 2.
Yeah, well, I remember that lad who was our fullback. He come up through the academy.
Let's
He
do it
scored
another
one
way.
goal. I think he had something like 16 appearances and then disappeared. We had a couple like that, didn't we? That literally had a fleeting appearance and then disappeared. Huntington, remember him?
Huntington.
Huntington. I'm sure his name was Huntington. Played right back. Tall blonde lad.
Oh, local lad.
Yeah, he would come up through
Yeah.
the academy.
Come up through the ends, yeah. You think you might have
Yeah.
played
I
one
think he
game,
had
I
about
think.
15, 16 games and then disappeared. I know he scored one goal. But like I say, I'm sure you're going to have loads of players like that just come on and play once and then disappear. So yeah, that was interesting. But like I say, just a couple of stats. Like I say, there's not a lot of info out there. There's still rumours that they're looking heavily into a couple of players for January, and that's literally where we're looking at. Just going on to our loan players now. This is something that I want to keep our tabs on because obviously we need to make sure our loan lads that are getting some time. And I must admit I was a bit shocked. Harrison Ashby wasn't even called off the bench in Saturday's championship meeting with Millwall. Ended 1-1. Joe White for the MK Dons got 10 minutes. He was as an 18 minute replacement at home for Doncaster in the 1-1 draw again. So only got 10 minutes. So he's obviously just trying to find his feet there. Max Thompson was an unused goalkeeper in Chesterfield's 1-1 draw against Cheltenham. Jamal Lewis was on the bench for the entirety of their 3-1 loss to International the weekend. Midriag Pavas is still waiting for a work permit.
Work permit. That is absolutely ridiculous, you know.
Yeah, and Jamie Miley's still obviously on the mend from his hernia operation. So the lads in total got 10 minutes, all the ones that are actually out on loan. So, like I say, to me, this is something that we need to see sorted, and is absolutely crazy, if I'm honest. But
or it means that our loanees are not even good enough for kind of Div 1, Div 2 levels, you know, which is worrying in itself is worrying as well.
Yeah.
Or it means, God forbid, that Shola isn't doing his job properly and getting to the right places where they're going to get played and making stipulations to that effect, etc., etc., etc.
But we've been there before, haven't we? And
Who knew?
Yeah, exactly. It seems as like I say, we're still on the road to looking at giving Anthony Gordon an extension to his contract. They're still in talks. I know you guys had a bit of a head-to-head the other day, you and Chris, about whether he deserves it or not. And I must admit, I certainly think there needs to be something sorted because to me, it definitely looks like his head's been turned. And I said it while we were at the international in Euros, and I said, talk amongst the lads in the background has every chance of giving this lad a little bit of an unrest, and a decision will need to be made by himself whether he still wants to play for Newcastle. I've also mentioned, obviously, from past interviews that you hear, the way he talks is he's definitely using Newcastle as a stepping stone moving forward. So for me, in the way I'm seeing him play at the moment with his body language, it's telling me exactly what I was expecting to see, even though I don't like admitting it. Anthony Gordon.
Yeah, well, I thought Tim came up with a very, very interesting
very good
premise
point
yesterday, which is that he played brilliant on the left wing for us, player of the season last year, on the left wing. That got him his England call-up on the left wing. where he hasn't got the competition of the likes of Saka and Bowen on the right wing, so he sees his place in the England team on the left wing. So if he's been asked to play anywhere else other than that, you can understand, perhaps, I'm not saying I agree that he's right to do it, but you can understand him spitting his dummy out and saying, look, I was player of the season at left wing last season, da-di-da-di-da. That's where I want to play. If you're not playing us there, I'm spitting my dummy out.
Yeah.
Now, does that have to be accommodated?
Well, it's very difficult when you've got two lads that play on that left wing and both can give you something. And when you're at the minute, we do look as though we are desperate. Every time Harvey Barnes gets the ball, he's that confident at the minute he's going to score, and that's the way he's playing at the minute. If you take him out the side and replace him by Anthony Gordon, who, to be fair, doesn't look like he's interested, are you going to knock the two lads?
So the alternative to doing that is to not play Barnes, which restricts you then to Miggy or Murphy on the right as we stand with our current playing squad. And you say to Gordon, by the way, I've got Barnes sitting here waiting on the bench. You better perform or he's coming on. And then it's up to Barnes to earn his spurs.
Yeah, but you don't think Barnes has earned his spurs already?
Well, yes, I do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. To me, the person that needs to be dropped and it kicked up the backside is Anthony Gordon.
Right.
If I was going to take a player out of the team,
there is the ultimate dilemma. Because he ain't signed his new contract yet. And if that's what you're going to say to him and you're going to risk losing him, then, that'd be a brave decision to take. But would he be? I mean, see, the way I see this going is, if Eddie was brave enough to make that decision, and this is the whole point, is he brave enough to do anything like this? Is he the super elite manager that we hope he's going to be? Is he brave enough to make that decision and stand by it? Because if then that results in, let's say, a transfer request or whatever it might result in, and Gordon goes somewhere else and becomes the wonder kid that we all think he can be, how does that reflect then on Eddie? So this is the balancing act that he's got to do. But this is what he's paid to do. This is what, if he's going to be that elite manager, he's got these decisions to make.
Yeah,
I agree with you. Right now, Barnes deserves his place in that team more than Anthony Gordon does.
Absolutely. I certainly wouldn't want to back up Anthony Gordon and say, you're important to me, and then knock Harvey Barnes' confidence by playing him either out of position or, like I say, putting him on the bench, because to me that you would tear the lad apart. What else has he got to do? What else has he got to prove to the manager to actually get into the first 11? To me, it's going to wreck the lad. Like I say, if Howe is going to be good to his word by saying, lads have to earn their position, then to me, and he's not happy playing right wing, then he gets on the bench. And if I'm absolutely honest with you, I would rather play Miggy than Gordon on the right hand side, if that's the way he's going to play, that's the way he's going to react, because you're going to get the hard yards from him.
Of course, the mighty American Mark, Gordon needs to play wherever he's best for Newcastle. Yeah, but the point is, he ain't playing. He's not playing.
Yeah, he only wears the shirt if he deserves the shirt. At this present moment in time, he's showing every sign that he doesn't want to wear the shirt. And that's what I said. He's got no heart in it, none whatsoever. You saw that with him tracking back yesterday. It was like running through mud with the lad. And he's supposed to
even when he was playing, even when he was playing on the left wing on Saturday.
Yeah, when they swapped over.
When he went back on the left, he made no effort at all on a couple of those occasions where in the past, he would have been busting a gut to close down that to Tetty.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially when Tetty was on a yellow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's another thing I was going to ask you. They got 6 yellow cards. How many cards did we get? Not one. There was no effort. There was nothing in the tackle. There was no challenges. I mean, you could say that J7 was lucky because obviously he held that player back. And I expected that to be a yellow card and them in being banned for the City game. Because, again, you know, it would have been typical. But again, the way he's played, you know, for me, you've got to drop one of the midfielders for Tonali. It's a must because there's just no cohesion between the three of them. And you also then got to start saying to yourself, if the lads up front aren't giving me what I need, then they also need to be dropped. Because we all know Isaac. But to me, it just seems as if everybody has worked out our 4-3-3 and have a way of playing against us now. And it's something that I can see a massive difference on against City. It's going to be, you know, the usual 4-5-1 low block, isn't it?
Yeah, just on what you're saying there.
What's he saying? Afternoon, all Eddie is the management as long as Pep. It's not a first rodeo. He needs to book up. Sorry, I've got for some unknown reason. So play Isaac
play quick. So play Isaac in midfield. Then see how he performs. Right, he's not a striker or a right winger. Yeah. Do a J7 on Isaac.
On Isaac, yeah. Well, like I said, I'd like to see him where he's got the ability to actually get the ball and run at players because I think you'd see a different Isaac altogether. At this present moment in time,
we've got a lot of comments coming in at the minute saying.
Well, then I'll let you do the comments, and then I'll
more or less the same thing. If I can find the first one that suggests it. Well, first of all, this is going back to the postponement. This is bad for us. The cup game could have been a wake up for us, but now it's City, and which is very true. Alluding to the same thing, the AFL's taking pity on us after the performance at Fulham and giving us a week off.
Yeah. But to be fair, I didn't want it.
And morning hell, the reason all the rain, the gods are still crying after the game on Saturday.
Yeah, I love that.
Now, Craig Lee's saying, I don't like Barnes and Isaac in the same team. Neither does much to help the team and both lack intensity. I think how plays Kelly to compensate for Barnes, one or the other, for me, makes sense.
Barnes has never really tracked back. He's never been that type of player.
This is the one that I was looking for. Trolls, I don't get why Sanusi isn't on the bench. He's a wonder kid and could change things for us. Or does Howe only want grafters?
Well, to be fair, I've seen him in the under-21s, and as much as he gets his head down and runs, and he runs well with the ball, it's a little bit like ISM at the moment with where do you go once you've reached a point? And I think at this present moment in time, he needs to learn the game. I agree, he's going to be an exciting player, but I think the Premier Leagues are probably...
Lee's agreeing with Trulls, says, he's exactly what the fans want to see. So bright on the ball, almost like a street player. We'll probably sell him at the end of June next year.
Yeah, probably wouldn't surprise us either.
Howe doesn't play youth unless he has to, and that's not good enough. We had several that would do a better job than Longy last season, but Howe is a coward not playing youth, in my opinion.
It's a difficult one, to be fair. I don't think there's enough players of quality, and there's lots of names coming in. We've changed a lot of the academy around, but as you can see by the results, it's just not settled yet. And to put the lads from an unsettled youth system that have got no confidence whatsoever, and you can see that the way they play, there's a lot of huff and puff, but they just can't finish on the last third. Very similar to the first team. You get up the field and it comes straight back at you, and they got beat out with the ball over the top. Very similar to what we do, because as you know, Eddie Howe wants and Mitchell want. They want all the youth system playing exactly the same formation and system as Eddie Howe. And even with them, it looks as if it's a bit kerfuffled at the minute. But for at the end of the day, I'm just looking at PDK breaking NTTV news. Gordon does not want to play for the Toon. Come on, he's out of form, lads. Simple. Well, all I'm saying to you is,
and you're agreeing. Not often I agree with you, PDK, but like I say, form is temporary, class is permanent, and we're going through a bad form spell at the minute.
I'm not making any assumptions. I'm just saying from what I saw, even back in the Euros when he was out there in Germany, and I said to you, here we've got VAR. I hope this doesn't turn his head. And I have seen nothing from that lad yet, and others, if I'm honest, that has proved me wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, they should all be playing their best positions. Years and years of the national team wasted by messing players around on the pitch.
Yeah.
So I still back out, but he's took a big risk mixing up our style of play. Could come back to haunt him. With no Europe, surely we could cope with our pressing style that's worked so well in the past. I 100% agree, Foxy. Let's get back to that, please.
But there's certainly there's something different in why Eddie set up this way. I don't know whether it, like I say, it's something that maybe the confidence in the back. I'm not sure, but Eddie set up this formation, and they all look a little bit out of sorts, especially when you ask the fullbacks to fill in the six, because I don't think Hall has done it really well, and Tino certainly hasn't done it well. And even to the fact, when you look at the weekend when we played a flat four for majority of the game, even that looked unbalanced. Nobody wanted to move anything any higher than the halfway line. I think I saw Kelly do it once, and I think I saw Trippier do it twice. But that, I don't mean going far up the field. He did it twice in the entire time he was on the park.
Craig saying, can't disagree when passing is dreadful. Every player has their feet on backwards. And if you've got your feet on backwards, which are flat, and the ball's round,
remember that.
You're never going to catch it. How needs to get in line with a new structure we have. If he can't, I'm sorry, but he needs to go. Yeah, you're just saying what a lot of other people are saying, Rose.
Yeah, you are.
Lee saying, seems like the players aren't covering for each other like they used to. And Trolls, we've let 8 goals in 5 matches. That's scary, to be honest. Yeah.
It is. When you see the amount of shots we're having. I mean, Nick Palper's doing his best, but you can't save everything.
So is it not just the rule of thumb that the manager isn't getting his ideas or style of play through to his players? We have a lack of ideas or passion to win these games. Just look. And Alan, voice of reason, comes in with the next 6 games for us are massive now. It will really decide where we are heading. If we sort ourselves out, or my prediction is out of the window, 3rd this season. Well, that's we're both are. And as Gary was saying, with these lovely Opta stats, I think it might have been match day, that if the next 10 games or
5.
If the next 5 games go a certain way, we could end up in 15th or 16th place.
Yeah, somewhere down there.
So,
it's only a guesstimate. I mean, it's just saying the stats. When you look at stats, it's rising all the way because of form against opposition that we are facing. That's how they look at it. So current form against current form regarding team-wise. And if the teams around us obviously gain points, we will start dropping away. And like I say, it is a time. Foxy's put down there about. Oh, go on, mate. Carry on.
That's the truth is saying Gordon needs to be benched for a game or 2, get a stern talking to, and told to up his game, or he'll be sold to Ipswich.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny how everybody sees play. I mean, like I say, we couldn't shout Gordon's name enough, could we, in pre-season, thinking, when this lad comes back from the Euros, he's going to give us the impetus that we need, and it's been far from it. Yeah, there you go.
Foxy's agreeing with you there. Sanusi looks a good prospect, but think it's too early for him.
Yeah,
Not
it's
seeing
miles too
much
early.
end product so far for the youth side. Didn't stand out as a Sunderland, Spurs, Derby, or West Ham.
Does a lot of running with the balls to progress the ball forward, but there's, like I say, there's just no end product at the minute. But he could be. I mean, like I say, I'm not saying he's looking.
We've still got some love out there for Eddie.
Yeah, Eddie is our king. We need to put up the ass. Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, I just hope it's.
Yeah, the only thing there, Ronnie, is if you're saying the players need a foot up the arse, he's the guy that should be giving them the foot up the arse.
Well, like I say, if anybody goes and has a look at the head-to-head between, I've said it before, between Howe and Mad Dog, it's Mad Dog who always says it's Howe who gives them the rollicking when they need it, and it's there for all to see.
Roy will love that one. Bring back Miggy.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. You know, like I said before,
you know, the one thing Miggy gives you is an out, because you don't have to be accurate with your ball to Miggy. He will chase anything that's anywhere near there, and even if a defender beats him to the ball, within half a second he'll be on that defender trying to get it back, and then that's where they're at. They're up that end of the pitch. They're not starting off from the halfway line.
Yeah. It is a strange one, to be fair. I mean, like I say, I don't always go on stats, but it gives me some. When I see a game and I follow it up with the stats, then it gives me a clearer picture in my head of where we are struggling. And like I say, I mean, you know, there's lots of, you can literally question every single thing at the minute at our club, and hope, you know, what we surmise is happening is actually just a storm in a teacup. That's what we hope, because I certainly want this to change. Because at the minute it just seems everybody's like doom and gloom. It's like the weather, isn't it? You know, you open the curtains this morning, you're like, oh God.
The first thing for me that's got to happen, got to change things, is Eddie has got to decide who are his best starting 11.
Yeah. I don't think he knows at the minute.
Well, and that's exactly. And that is the problem, because there's no real excuse for that. He should know his best starting 11. He should know his best back four that he wants to play. He should know his best midfield three, and he should know his best three starters.
Yeah, we've got no continuity.
Let's assume, for example, he says, right, my best three starters are Barnes on the left, Isaac in the middle, and Gordon on the right. And if Gordon's spitting his dummy out and saying, I'm not going to play on the right, if you put us there, I'm just going to dilly-dally. Okay, well, I'm going to start you there. You dilly-dally and you're going to be off and Murphy's going to be on.
Yeah, there's got to be something. There's certainly got to be something.
Same with the midfield. Listen, if anything's Longstaff's the answer in midfield, he starts him.
We can't keep stopping and changing.
He's got to be, but you can, exactly. All this chopping and changing is ridiculous. Because
that's what he said. He wants a team versus an opponent. So he's going to pick a team versus an opponent, as Chris does with the head-to-head. Who would you rather have? Obviously, versus the other. You know, what he's doing is he's putting one of our players up against the opposition player and trying to get the best out of them. And it doesn't work like that, because you lose that continuity. And I've never really understood that type of system, if I'm honest. Well, I mean, to be fair, apart from, you know, listing the actual obvious, that is all of the news that's out there this morning. Obviously, there's still some talk about that lad, the winger that they're looking at, who plays across the four, the 18-year-old. But obviously, that's not going to happen until January. But there's still a lot of social media sources out there saying that we're heavily connected to him. The only other little bit of news, I suppose, is we better mention the girls winning the first home game against Sheffield United. First half strikes from Beth Lumsden and Shania Hales were enough to United to pick up 3 points in front of a crowd of 3,221. Becky Langley did come on and do
it. You know how much I'm invested into the women in the women's game. Just to add to that, we had a crowd of what, 3,000?
3,221.
And when I was in the train going past the Emirates yesterday morning at 10:30, there was throngs of red and whites going into the Emirates.
Yeah.
And I thought, hang on a minute. I thought Arsenal were playing Man City at the Etihad. And I thought I'd got it wrong. I thought, and on the tube, on the tube from King's Cross to where I was going, there was loads of Man City shirts and Arsenal shirts, because I was on the Piccadilly line to Arsenal. Loads of red and whites and blue. I thought, well, fuck me, I could have sworn it was at the Etihad. It was the Arsenal women versus Man City women's game that was on with a 12:30 kickoff at the Emirates, and they had a crowd of 45,000.
Yeah. We've got a long way to go, mate, haven't we?
Who knew?
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, it's crazy.
Who knew?
That's what I said. You imagine the revenue off that. That's what I said. I mean, we're only charging, I think was it £3 or something like that? £5 a game? I think the season ticket's only something like 59 quid. So, like I say, even though they've got some support, it's nice for them crowds to start to grow and hopefully bring revenue through the door, because it certainly would be a good one. Remember when Big Geordie Dragliner, that would sort out the pitch. There you go. From
Big
John
Geordie
Richardson.
from Ellington Opencast. Yeah, that was some piece of machinery, that was.
Yeah. Foxy's come in with Miggy's actually one of our best possession-based players in the team. Consistently around 80% complete passes. There you go. Like I say.
I had champion Miggy when everybody around was doubting him, and I say I like stats for some things and not for others, but
yeah.
The one thing that they didn't tell you was what he gave the team.
Well, like I said yesterday, I was glad Longstaff wasn't in, because he would have had the finger pointed at him all day long.
Yeah, he would.
Performance on Saturday, and like I say, it just proves, it
like
happens when you get the stars.
If Eddie believes that might have been what the problem was, and he puts him back in against Man City.
Yeah.
And crazy. Who knows, we'll get a result, and everybody says, well, looky.
Yeah.
You make your own luck.
Like I say, sometimes you've got to have the lads that are willing to do the hard yards for you. It doesn't always have to be pretty football. Waldo says Miley returning could give us a different direction in midfield.
No.
Good at not wasting the ball. Yeah, he is. But again, he's probably a little bit light.
I'm not so sure that Miley could be an improvement on Tonali, GS7 or Bruno, to be honest. But he's a good option to have for spreading the load.
Yeah.
But put Miley in with another two good ones, and you'll have a half a team. Put Miley in, again, I'm denigrating them, but put Miley in with Longstaff and Bruno, and you ain't got a midfield, I'm afraid.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people now questioning, obviously, the captaincy of Bruno, if it's affecting his game, because it has been a season-long issue. And, as daft it looks, is that even trying to give, if you look at the likes of Trippier, I know people say, well, it hasn't really changed regarding the captaincy across the room, but are the lads feeling the effects of Gilmore as being the captain now? Because, like I say, it seems as if from the start of this season,
you don't know if it's coincidence or what, but certainly Bruno's form since he was given the captaincy hasn't been anywhere near what his form was when he didn't have it. So, and
I was questioning it, because I was saying professional players and captains, you wear the band with pride. But for some, as we've heard in the past with Kelly, at Bournemouth. You know, sometimes that ban can weigh a little bit heavy on your whole game, because you then spend more time concentrating on others than you do on your own game.
Got
And you have to wear the big
Seals,
boy
Jeff. They're
pants.
saying, afternoon, lads, trying to do my gardening around in the rain. You're keen.
Yeah,
So great
absolutely.
to have something to listen to get me through. Great show.
Yeah,
Thanks
well
very
done.
much for that.
Thanks, Jeff.
And then Trolls is saying, get a result against City. You need to take your meds, win. Yeah, be surprised.
From what I saw yesterday, it's gonna be a tall order.
Oh, and then here we've got the biggie hitters back on. What stats are these, Derek? 1 purple patch in 5 years. I look at assists and goals, which is his position, not passing backwards, same as the SF. The point I'm making, Stephen, is that you don't see Miggy with the actual assist, but it's the move that gave Trippier his assists, because the out was to clear the ball up to Miggy for Miggy to run to. All he did was hang on to the ball, retain the ball until Bruno, Longy, and Trips had come up to the outside of their penalty area, and then they used to work their triangles. So it was never necessarily Miggy who was putting the final assist in, but one of those other three would be, and it couldn't have happened without Miggy being there in the first place. And also, if it happened to break down, Miggy had the pace to then recover and cover for Trips, who was still up the pitch, to slow down their attack on the right hand, on our right hand side, their left hand side. So that's what I'm talking about. That's where the stats do not tell the full story.
You got a question in? Have you seen that one?
Which Foxy?
Yeah.
If someone comes in for Bruno next window, or some of our 80, 90 million, what we're saying no 100 million minimum, 150 million minimum for Isaac, 100 million minimum for Gordon, and who I missed out, J7, probably because of his age, 80, 90 million for J7. That would be me.
I'd have to think about it, if I'm honest. It's a number that I would look at, saying if you need to go forward, move forward, that could get me 3 players.
Maybe with a few add-ons.
Yeah, but I'd certainly consider it at that money, because, like I say, we have to. We, as daft it looks, regardless of how much of we love these players, going forward now in the next couple of windows, we will have to sell an asset to move forward. That's fact. So
I just think you never get anywhere by selling your best players.
Well, it's happened to the Man Cities and everything around us. They've all sold big guns and carried on buying. Liverpool have done the same.
They've never sold their best players.
Well, you can't say that, can you? They've just sold Alvarez. He's one of the best players. He was in the side all the time that what's his name was out. So
but he wasn't the number one choice.
Well, he was. Well, Haaland wasn't in.
Yeah, because he was number 2 to Haaland.
Yeah, but you've got to, that's what I'm saying. You've got to have a structure. But all I'm saying to you is there's a price on everybody's head, isn't there? And I'm saying
no, I don't think Man City would sell Haaland.
For the right money, they would.
Well,
I guarantee you.
Absolutely, for stupid money, they would. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Everybody will have a price. And,
well, I'm saying I would sell ours for stupid money.
Yeah, but you see, I don't think you need to be selling for stupid money. I just think we need to get on the ladder. I think we need to have sellable assets.
I can't have it. You're never going anywhere if you sell your best players.
So if we go in and buy 3 other players with the 90 million pound that we've got for Bruno, of adequate assets, it's say 3 midfielders that bolster our midfield fully.
But you can only play one of them.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You don't look at the bigger picture. You've got to say you've got 3 players that can cover the whole of the midfield for the rest of the season. All will be growing as the club grows, and all will be gaining in experience and money in value.
Okay, right.
You've sold one player.
Let's analyze that then. So we are buying 3 players for the money that we get for Guimaraes.
I'm not saying
No,
3 midfielders. I'm
no,
saying, whatever.
whatever. 2 players. So one of those players is going to replace him, obviously. And then in some game in the future, we will be playing the side that's got Bruno in.
Okay.
And obviously, the fact that we've been able to buy player A for half the price of Bruno is not going to be as good as Bruno.
How do you know that?
Well, how do you know that he is?
Because
I
that's
know
why
how good Bruno is.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you is this is why you've got Mitchell in. You're going to be looking at players that are under the radar, not the big names. I mean, Fox is just there. Coutinho went to Barca, who was a key player at the time, and then he just dropped off. But Liverpool got the money for him, and they're still using some of that money to continue buying. Was it 140 million they got for him? Crazy money.
Stupid.
But what I'm saying to you is,
stupid money, yes.
Yeah, but Liverpool are already there. They don't need to sell their big players unless people offer the big money. We aren't there. We're nowhere near there. And
exactly. That's why I'm saying so. We can't afford to sell our best players.
But you're never going to move forward, Win. That's what I'm saying.
I disagree.
Well,
we add to them.
I don't think. I mean, we paid £40 million for Bruno. If we got double that money, that is profit in the bank all day long. And if you can't go and find a midfielder that can do exactly what Bruno does for 40 to 50 million pound, I'll eat my hat. I might as well take.
Okay, I'll put it another way then. If you can buy another midfielder who can do for 40, 50 million pound what Bruno does, why would anybody pay 80, 90 for Bruno?
This is what I'm saying. You put your assets in the window, and then you get somebody likes of Mitchell to go out there and find the little ones in the back room that nobody's looking at. That's what makes them top.
All you're ever going to be doing then is playing catch up with the big clubs who are paying the 80, 90 million for the ready-made product.
Yeah, but we're doing it now.
What we have done is exactly what you're saying. Because of our financial yes, we have. Because of our financial constraints, we've had to go and find the 30, 40 millions of Brunos, the Botmans, the Isaacs, even at 63, still a bargain, to do that. But once we've got them, if we then sell them, we'll just go back to square one. We've got to find another one.
Well, because of the constraints, it opens up the bigger window.
But you're never going to catch up then with the clubs who paid you the 90 million for Bruno.
Well, I see. I disagree with that because you have to. You have to go out and buy the right players.
It's all very well to say you have to.
Well,
I don't see how you can. The only way you can do it is by building your revenue so that you're in the position, for example, in the summer, for us to have gone to West Ham and offer them stupid money for Barnes, who's going to come in and immediately improve our team. That's the only way to do it. If you're just always going to be, if you're selling your best players, you're always going to be playing catch up. You're never going to get there. And that's not what PIF are about.
Well, to be fair, I think it's the bigger picture that PIF want. They want to be number one. You're not going to be number one by not selling players, ever.
You're not going to be number one by selling your best players.
But you have to move them on. That's what happened to us in the past. Well, where are you going to get them in? How are you going to get new players?
You're going to buy them. You're going to pay for them with PIF money.
But we can't do that. That's what I keep saying to you. You're not looking at
the minute until we build our revenue base up.
I don't know. For me, at this present moment in time, I don't think we are a club of the top six like people are putting us there. I think we have got a hell of a lot.
So straight away, that's where we differ because I think
of course we do. And I'm not saying I'm not a supporter. I'm just looking at the realistic.
No, I'm not saying by 1 second you're not a supporter.
For me, all I look at now is the fact that in the past we have never had a sellable asset. we've more or less sold like for like and got the money in, and that's what Ashley used to do. He used to try and keep the money in his purse.
Ever done, man.
Absolutely, I know that. I'm not saying we haven't.
Sell all
Apart
our
from the
best players.
95. But the way I look at it now is we have got the best packing we have had in our history. I believe.
Correct.
Best packing we've ever had.
Throw that away by selling our best assets.
But we're not throwing it away, Win. You have to sometimes step
throwing
backwards
it
to move
away.
forward. But I don't agree with you, mate. I think sometimes you have to go backwards one step to move 3 forward. And if you can sell one player to bring 3 in, you get a much deeper squad to rotate players
You're just
through.
rolling the dice. You're rolling the dice. You're just hoping that the players you buy are going to be good enough.
All I'm saying to you is now, we
don't need to roll the dice.
Okay,
because
I'm giving you a scenario.
We've already got those players.
Yeah, I'm giving you a scenario now, right? 3 players in midfield. Who comes in to replace one of them? Tonali. So we've got 3 players playing. Wait.
Which 3 players are you talking about?
Well, say on Saturday, we've got 3 players: Willock, J7, and Bruno in the middle. 3 of them playing absolutely crap. Who comes in to replace them? Name me 3 players that can come in and replace them.
Well, at the minute, we've only got Tonali, who's of that quality, if you're asking me.
You've just answered your question then, haven't you? If you haven't got the players in depth to replace the team that aren't playing well,
no, because we haven't spent enough money on the squad.
Well, we're never going to be allowed to spend money, Win. That's what I keep saying.
We are. If we build the
revenue
haven't we,
then? Why haven't we then? If we are, we've got the money, we've got the backing, but we are going to be held back by PSR for the future of mankind until we sell.
Conspiracy theories in the forum this morning.
Okay. Well, like I say, I don't agree that we've got 130 million pounds. That's what I believe. I know you think differently.
By the way, I'm still waiting for an answer from what's his face.
Think you'll ever get one, mate?
No, I don't think I will either. So if anybody can pull figures in my spreadsheet, let them. Exactly. I look forward to being proven wrong.
Let's have a look at what somebody's saying on that. Let's have a look at what we've got. Like I say, we've been waffling on, and I haven't really looked at any of the comments since we've been chatting. Foxy has put down Atletico Madrid sold their best player, Griezmann, for 100 million to Barca. They took Suarez on the cheap and then won the league. So he's saying then you will be waiting for 20 years.
By the way, when Barca took Suarez, he was what? 31.
He's up in his 30s, wasn't he? They've capped the fair market value to the sponsorship. Never going to happen. Kim saying,
no, we don't know. We're waiting for the reason that we haven't had any new sponsorship this season. I firmly believe is because we're waiting to see what the outcome of the City APT challenge has resulted in. Because if that results in no checks on it, then we'll see how much money we'll get in and see if we need to sell anybody.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We are hoping that somebody else does the work for us. I'm saying
the best players the club has ever had. Exactly.
I'm never going to disagree with you. That's what I said. That's what makes it really exciting for Newcastle. But under our strict regime at this present moment in time, we are never going to be allowed to be another Man City ever. Unless we do something.
No, I don't think we probably wouldn't be allowed to be another Man City, but that still doesn't stop us being. Just have to knock that off. Sorry about that.
That's all right. If you sell 1 gem and get 3, what's wrong with that? Well, like I say,
what's wrong with that? Listen, there's obviously nothing wrong with selling 1 gem and getting 3. But it's known that you're getting the 3, and you'll not know you're getting the 3 until you've got them.
Until they get them.
And then it's too late, and you might have sold your 1 gem for 3 duds.
That's what I'm saying. Everything's a gamble,
and what
though.
The big teams are doing, what Real Madrid do, what Man City do, is they buy the ready-made gem and they pay the market rate for it.
But I don't think we are there.
Start doing.
but we aren't there, and we never will be there because the PSR we've already got the ceiling now. That's what I'm saying. We are put in a financial issue because of what Amanda and Mirdad tried to get us out of relegation, and they've done an amazing job. And now we're out of relegation, and we are sitting 2 years on the trot now in the top
Yeah,
7. You know what I mean? And that's what I said. We've done an amazing job, but
terrible,
you'll
isn't it?
see. It's not terrible, buddy. That's what I'm saying. I'm not disagreeing with
No,
you.
but by all the
I'm
doom
saying
and
to you-
gloom that's going around, you would think it was terrible.
No, but that's what I'm
By
saying.
the,
What I'm
by
saying
the
to you
way,
is,
I am not underestimating the fact that our performances have been crap. I'm not underestimating that.
No.
But what I am
and all I'm
saying is,
if we
despite
could,
them being as crap as they've been, we are still where we are. And let's not underestimate that.
Yeah. But have we plateaued? That's what I'm saying. Do we need to shift to go to that next level, if you like?
Well,
And that's what I'm saying.
If by shifting you mean selling our best assets, absolutely not, as far as I'm concerned.
As you're concerned,
no chance.
That's all I'm asking. I mean, I'm not trying to have a debate or what's name with it. I'm just saying, have we got to start moving the chess pieces in a different direction?
I was hoping with PIF coming in, the days of us selling our best players were gone. No more selling Waddle, Gascoigne, Beardsley, Carroll. In Ashley era, Wijnaldum, Sissoko making millions.
That's what I said. That's totally different era, isn't it?
Wigan in the squad, Kabay. All our best players sold. Bollocks. Keep them.
What's to say you can't sell a Gordon for 2 Gordons? Right now, Gordon has had 1 good year. And what's he done to back it up this season?
Nothing.
Like I said, absolutely nothing. What's to say we spend 100 million on a player and they turn out to be crap? It's always a gamble. Yeah, there you go. Everything's a gamble. If you have proper scouting network, it's less of an issue. Chrissy's saying, how are you going to build up revenue without selling?
Sponsorship.
Derek, would you sell Isaac for 3 of the same quality? Of course you would. I think that's answers itself.
What sort of question is that?
I mean, well,
how are you going to guarantee you're getting 3 of the same quality? That's the problem.
Yeah. Well, that's why I said on yesterday's show was the fact that have we got to the point now with Isaac playing him in as our number 9, as he started to see the problems that we face as a team, because you always want an outlet, and at the minute he's not the outlet. So it's a case of this problem that we've got in the team is literally across the team.
I think he has a controversial one for you. I think we would be a better team with Solanke playing number 9 instead of Isaac playing number 9. There you go. And can you imagine what would happen if we'd gone for Solanke? It would have been, fucking Eddie, the only place he ever goes is Bournemouth. You watch what Solanke does for Spurs this season. We could have him for 65 million.
It was crazy to think that all the Spurs fans were absolutely on Solanke's back after 3 games.
He's never played.
Well, he missed the 1 game. He's played 3 games, hasn't he? And scored 1. But they said he's trying too hard. He's trying to impress. You can see it. But once he settles down, I agree. I think he could be a really good centre forward. Foxy again is Liverpool sold irreplaceable Fernando Torres to Chelsea and then bought in Suarez. Every player can be replaced.
Stupid money.
They
got 50 million when 50 million was unheard of. That 50 million that Liverpool got them enabled them to pay us 35 million for Carroll. And that's the best deal Newcastle have ever done in their history. Getting 35, even I didn't blame Ashley for that. Even I would have sold Carroll for 35 million. 35 million at the time was a huge transfer fee. Huge.
Yeah.
Suarez only cost them 10. And that was a big fee in itself.
Niall saying Eddie spent 450 million in 3 seasons with only selling ISM, Wood and Shelby. That says it all. Well, the problem is it's not a problem selling them. It's getting the value. And because we needed to sell quickly, we didn't get the value for any of them. But
we got the value for the 450 million was spent.
Yeah, we have, but we haven't now got a ceiling. That's where Mitchell was saying we've got to stop.
I've got a team up there that Eddie. I put a team on the forum this morning.
Yeah,
Eddie bought for 500 million, a full team, 500 million, and I wouldn't mind seeing this on Saturday against Man City.
Is it in the forum?
Pope, Trips, Gay. I've got Gay in there because that was who we wanted. It would have just cost 50 million. Would have took it up to the 500 million. Pope, Trips, Gay, Botman, Tino, Tonali, Bruno, Hall, Barnes, Isaac, Gordon. I wouldn't mind seeing that team. Now, okay, we didn't get Gay, but we can stick Shea in there, and I still haven't got J7 in that lineup, who he transformed, because he transformed J7 and Shea. And Shea could play instead of Gay, and J7 can come in the midfield instead of Hall, and Hall could drop back to left back instead of Tino.
Yeah.
But there's no matter with that team, I tell you. And that was all bought by Eddie Howe.
Steve said, at the end of the day, we would have Aramco and Saudi Air sponsorship of 200 million or something by now.
Exactly.
At around about 30 million amid the Yes City case. That's what I'm saying. I mean, at the minute, I think that's the reasons why they're holding back.
But the point is, we can put our hands on that money anytime. Certainly anytime before the January transfer window. And on my conspiracy theory in the forum this morning was that by not backing Eddie in the summer, in other words, by not going that extra 5 million to get Gay, they've kept that in the pot along with the other money that I'm absolutely convinced in the pot. And if you stick another 50 million new sponsorship on top of that, it means that if Eddie spits his dummy out before the summer, or results go against him, and they've got a good excuse then to get shot of him without really tearing the fan base in half, then they've got some war chest for to give to the new guy coming in. And when you imagine, let's say, a 200 million pound war chest in January on top of our current squad, that's going to make us a force to be reckoned with, without selling any of our crown jewels.
Jody Dan, afternoon all. Let's not be too doom and gloom. We're still 6 despite not playing off our best. Maybe the loss will be a wake-up call. Whatever happens in Jan, we must bring in reinforcements.
Here, Jody Dan. Thank you.
Fair play. Foxy says Suarez was 34 when he joined Atletico Madrid. Wow. Didn't think he was that old. Pete has put down the players whose contracts are running out. We could be lucky if we get 20 million for all of them. Could only save on wages. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We lose, was it 9 players, we said? By the time January comes along, if everybody looks for a free out. Jake has put down that you're both right. You can think we need to sell him for progress. You can also think we need to keep our best players to progress. I can't see selling Isaac's going to benefit us in any way. Well, here you go. So, like I said, it's like I said, it's without knowing what's happening behind the scenes, we're all just surmising. Worst case scenario, if we lose the next 5 games, will Howe be shown the door? The pressure is on him, and the next lot of fixtures might not go in our favour, like we said before.
The next 5 fixtures, one of them's Everton away, of course, but which is eminently winnable, I believe. But the rest are not easy by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah,
City, Chelsea. Who was it? City, Chelsea, Liverpool,
Everton, Liverpool, something like that, wasn't it?
City, Everton, Liverpool, Chelsea, and is it Man U?
Something like that over the next few fixtures, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's certainly.
We need to keep
Newcastle, Everton away. Then we've got Brighton at home, Chelsea away, Arsenal at home, Forest away.
The other one, yeah.
West Ham at home, then Palace away, and then Liverpool at home starting December. Liverpool at home, yeah. So,
Yeah,
like I say,
Arsenal are the one I was missing out.
yeah, the next run, I suppose you can say
And then you can
probably
say
Everton.
if we win all of those, we'll be top of the league.
Yeah, if we win all of them, what we moaning about? Exactly.
Exactly. Starting on Saturday.
Exactly. I'll meet shouting because it's all in capitals. We need to keep Isaac at all costs. Bruno Gordon are replaceable. World-class strikers aren't. And he's also saying sell J7 as well.
Not a chance. He's the most important player we've got, even though he is going through one horrendous spell at the minute. As are they all. And if the reason, again, as we discussed in the forum this morning, if the reason that they all are is because Howe has lost the dressing room, then he's got to go. Simple as.
And saying if I think we definitely need to give Mitchell a chance. He's not been successful elsewhere for nothing. Jake Curtin, fluff the transfer window. We had money to spend. We offered 70 for Gay. Well, we didn't up front. That was structured. And I think that's the reasons why Gay never come in the end. What else was there? I've just seen Lee McFarlane. There you go. Regardless who you sell, you were only going to buy who you want, not just any three players with the money. Well, I mean that. I wouldn't just go out there and pick three random players off the street. Well, maybe the June 30th again.
Yeah.
What else have we got? I've just seen something that I was gonna. News in. There you go. Man City won the sponsorship case. If this is right, surely it changes things for ourselves.
Whoa.
This is the conspiracy thing. Look at Winnie smiling.
Here's the thing, though. We will know when the Premiership rules are updated.
Yeah, exactly.
And those Premiership rules, allegedly, unless they change them in running, are the rules applicable to the 24-25 season. So unless they are going to change them midstream, which would it not a vote? Pretty sure it would take a vote.
Yeah.
And the vote would probably be along the lines of, because what Man City will be saying is, if you're going to use these illegal, if this is, I mean, we're just taking your word for it, Darren Lee, that Man City have won the case, which I'll be straight, as soon as we're finished here, I'm straight on looking for it.
Well, I'm looking
if
for
that's
it now,
the case, then Man City will legitimately be able to sue the Premier League for loss of earnings, unless they change their rules. So there would then need to be an extraordinary meeting of the Premier League clubs to say, do we change the rules to avoid this lawsuit that City will bring against us, which is going to cost us millions, or do we plod on regardless? And then that'll be up to the other 20. It'll be up to the 20 clubs to decide. So, but that's all purely hypothetical until we see exactly what the findings of this the findings have been at this court case.
Having a quick look,
but you're right. It changes things dramatically for ourselves, because you just watch the sponsorship deals coming in now from Aramco, from Saudi, from Saudi Telecom. They'll be through the door like a steam train at hundreds of millions, and then all of a sudden, Salah will renew the shirt deal at 3 times the money, and we'll be at the Saudi Stadium. Fucking come on, bring it on.
Bring it on, absolutely.
And then we'll not have to be selling our best players. We'll be buying every player.
That's what I said. Then the market's wide open, and that's what I said. You just need the money to be able to go out there and do it. Foxy's still talking about all the players that other teams have sold. That's what I said. We've just got to get there, and that's what I said. We'll be the same again. We'll be exactly the same position. We'll be able to sell.
Well, Foxy, but with respect, Foxy, you're saying to Barca. We all know that Barca and Real Madrid, because of their respective financial non-constraints historically, before the Premier League came along to usurp their independence in the market, where Barca and Inter could and to a degree PSG could virtually buy who they liked, and the Premier League could not compete until all of the Premier TV rates rose and rose and rose and rose to where they are now, and therefore the interest grew. So we've got the Abramoviches and the Saudis and the Qataris and all the Middle East oil money. That prevented Barca's and Real Madrid's dominance. Now, Real Madrid have retained theirs to a degree simply because of the success and the history of the club. And Barca to a lesser degree, maybe. But that was how they were able to get Zlatan from Inter. Because they were the only two clubs. But I guarantee you, if Zlatan was at Inter now and there was a bidding war, he would be going to either Chelsea or Man City. So you're comparing apples and pears there to a degree. Sorry, Foxy. You may or may not disagree with that.
Niall saying, how long of us playing like this and not getting results before Piff relieve him of his duties?
Well, not long.
Well, that's the $1 million question.
No, we've said a million times. The coach's job, manager's job, call it what you will, is results dependent.
I mean, don't forget, they've already had a meeting. They've already come over. So they realise there's issues. They've already come over and they've had a big meeting already. Now, whether that's regarding us going forward in the January window, whether it's the backroom spat that's obviously going on or potentially going on, whatever it is, they've been over. So they'll be in the loop. But who will be in the firing line first, do you think? Do you think it'll be Howe or Darren Eales? Because I ain't being funny. He's gone awfully bloody quiet all of a sudden.
That's up to PIF to decide, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Darren's saying, don't think Howe has lost the dressing room. Maybe the Japan pre-tour hasn't helped, etc.
I would be astounded if Howe has lost the dressing room, because the one thing that he has done consistently wherever he's been, and he's been sometimes rightly, in my opinion, criticised for it, is blind loyalty to some of his players, to all of his players, really. And the result of that is that they'll run through brick walls for him. So I would be astounded if, for example, you've got somebody like Anthony Gordon who's coming in and upsetting that stability that the dressing room's always had, then maybe it's time to get rid of him.
I've just seen that. Somebody's written in. I've just put Foxes up there because it was a good point about what Monaco have done and everything else. But I saw, because you had obviously I suppose you can say you had a question about Isak's ability as a number 9, and I can't see where it is now. Here you go. Waldo said Isak has proved he's not an out-and-out 9. He plays better out in the wild. So would you sell Gordon, throw Isak on the 9 and go and buy a number 9 with the money?
Well, no. If you are giving me the choice, I'd for example, if I could go out and buy a Haaland, I'd buy a Haaland.
Yeah, but you got to find them. Yeah, that's the trouble.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
That's
the point. That's the point you're doing, because we have found Isak. And so now Arsenal would love to have come and bought Isak from us in the summer.
Yeah, but I'll tell you something now. They'll have seen Isak on the left wing rather than as a striker. I'll more or less guarantee you, because you said he reminds you of Henry.
Henry,
I
absolutely.
mean, I'm not being funny.
That's what he is for
It
me.
wouldn't surprise me, Arteta throwing him down the left-hand side. I'm telling you now.
Yeah. So
because that would have been an interesting case, wouldn't it?
Nothing to stop us doing that. In which case, then I would sell Gordon and buy Bourne and a centre for but get Bourne and Solanke.
That'll be interesting. But it's a good shout. To be fair, it's a really good shout.
Yeah.
Azao likes his flexible players. I did see one or two other things. Oh, apparently it was a bit of a joke about the Man City winning their sponsorship thing. Apparently, so I haven't seen anything pop up on my screen to say that there's a. I have got that as one of my notifications. To be fair, Wilson out for another month. Well, Kenny, it's really interesting because Eddie's come out for the first time ever. And if we like, what we could do before we say we go by, I have got something. Bear with me a second, which we could play a little bit of a guess who, I suppose. And it's simple as, when Eddie Howe for the first time coming out and saying about Wilson having a hamstring issue. That's what's delayed him. So guess who this is? I'm sure you'll all guess. And as you can see on here, we have got from 21 all the way to the current. We've got obviously all his hamstring problems going riddled throughout his career. And we all questioned what was going on. But for the first time ever, during his interview the other day, Eddie Howe was questioned about his delay. And he mentioned an ongoing hamstring injury, which was obviously connected all to this back procedure that he's had. And that's what's delayed him. It's got nothing to do with his back anymore. It's apparently a connection to his hamstring problems that he's had obviously looked at, that he's now undergoing an extra specialist to try and get these answers sorted, which was interesting because I said to the lads not so long back, it wouldn't surprise me if this back injury isn't something that's been, I suppose, umbrellaing the bigger issue with his hamstring and whether it's all connected. And it sounds like it is. So watch this space with that. And that probably could be the reasons why they're just protecting him a little bit longer. So there you go, Ken. I hope that's done it. But like I say, at the end of the day, if it fixes everything, I don't mind him being out for another month. Gordon body language looks shocking according to scans. 3003 on Saturday. Do you think this is an issue with him? We all said that. Unfortunately, that's Anthony Gordon. All the Everton fans said that. When Anthony Gordon's not happy, he shows it, and it's hard not to see it. RG Fox was saying that the Fulham result was a blip, just like other blips on the road last season. The lads will reform, reshape, and be better than that performance. Well, that's what we want, mate. We want to see them.
Well, they certainly need to be.
Yeah. Omar saying Gordon needs to add some beef. Looks too gaunt. Kenny saying, did Eddie say Miley is another 6 months? No. He's probably another month to 6 weeks away. He's on the grass training, but obviously he wants him to get up to match speed. So he'll probably go and have a few behind the scene games with the under 21s, under 18s mixture, which is literally what the likes of Tonali would have done and alike. But obviously there won't be no cameramen there. But he's not 6 months away, mate. He's about 4 to 6 weeks. Alessandro Minetti, welcome back. Footballers get paid millions and millions, and they want to bitch and moan when they are asked to cover another position. Boo freaking who? If I was the coach, I'd tell them to sit down, next man up. Yeah. And that's what Eddie Howe said, and that's what I said. That was a statement that Eddie Howe.
This is what I'm saying. Eddie Howe has to start earning his spurs. He's got to have that conviction and do it. And if he doesn't, and if the results continue to slip away, there's only one man who'll pay the price, and that's him.
Yeah.
As he stands, he's got a bit of credit in the bank. So if there's some civil war going on in the background between him and Eels and his cronies, well, PIF will be looking, making decisions as to whose side to take. As long as we are sitting where we are in the league, I don't think they'll be jumping quickly to shift Eddie out. But if that starts to slide, that's going to give them every reason for to do exactly that. It's all about results. Yeah. Always has been, always will be.
Always will. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And you don't improve results by selling your best players.
It looked like Eddie moved Gordon to a number 10 position at one point. He did, matey. Yeah, when we got a second half, he rattled some feathers, to be fair, playing a new system. Fulham struggled to match us for the first 10 minutes. But it certainly looked good going forward. It certainly opened different avenues for us. And we've often said, I think, unfortunately, the 4-3-3 is old school now, and it looks a little bit as though it's plateaued. So maybe he does need to adjust it a little bit.
Yeah.
And it certainly looks confusing to some players.
That's the other thing.
But you're right, matey. So Miggy's played every position for us, apart from his natural position, and he's always smiling. Get the statue built for him. Cool. I'm sick of this civil war BS. It's paper, but yeah. I mean, like I said, we don't know. All I'm saying,
like I said yesterday, when we've seen the dressing room victory photograph, which played such a fantastic part in the morale. I mean, they've got those massive wall-sized photographs now all around the training ground, the changing rooms and everything, the reception area. Has anybody seen Mitchell or Eels in those photographs the way Amanda and Murdad used to be? And Eels at the time when Amanda was there. Since Amanda's gone, you don't see any of them in those photographs.
Yeah. I mean, like I say,
almost as if they wouldn't be enjoying the victory, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah, it does make you wonder whether there's something going on. Geordie Dan said, I am all Eddie. I'm not out. However, if he does leave for England, as an example, who do we go for? Decent managers are quite sparse at the moment. Poch has been headed to the States. So
well, he's not headed in the States. He's in the States. He's
there,
managing the US. But I tell you what now, if Paul Mitchell was to go right now and say, Poch, back over here, bunny lad, and we would pay whatever compensation US wanted, and he'd be here. And I wouldn't be averse to that either, by the way.
Well, like I say, Pope, Shaw, Burn, Keeler. Waldo's put in a formation here of 3-5-2. And I've said that it wouldn't surprise me if we don't do something like this with what we call the floating wing backs. But I can't say wing backs because nobody in the chat likes me to say wing backs.
Wing back,
but
no wing back.
Could be a system that could certainly move us forward a little bit.
But again, and I quite like the look of that lineup. To be fair, but it relies on Eddie moving away from the 4-3-3 that he appears to be.
Well, like I said, it's a fluid 4-3-3. That's what I'm saying. The fluid 4-3-3 is great on paper, but it just seems as if some of the lads don't understand what Eddie wants. I must fish out that video. I keep telling you I will do. Eddie back in the days of his Bournemouth games, and like I say, it is difficult to listen to when you're asking lads to constantly run into channels, and you can see all the lads going, Where do I? You know what I mean? I'll have to find it out for you. Chris is saying, don't forget 9 o'clock tonight, guys. We have got another show. Obviously, we were going to do the preview, the Wimbledon preview, but obviously because that's cancelled now, I'm sure we'll get into another
Look at him with his fancy shirt on.
I know. You,
Chris?
Oh, where is he? Oh, you mean on the picture?
On the picture, right?
Oh no.
He's getting posh like Win with a colour.
Foxy's saying he'd go for Martin and tell me. The next up-and-coming manager. Argentina producing too many at the moment. There's one for the books. Don't know much about him, mate, to be fair.
No, me neither.
But like I say, I mean, I know you are well up on your South American stuff. But well, it's going to be interesting because obviously with the postponement now of us, can you hey, rigged Carabao Cup draws? What are they going to get for not?
This is what you get for not giving Newcastle too much.
Yeah, but it's really weird, you know. I saw that just. Yeah, it's very clever. Well, I saw that just, and you know, we won't know. We'll know our opposition, who we're playing, quicker than we'll know when the next rescheduled match is against Wimbledon, because obviously the door's being made.
We still know what it's going to be, don't we? Away against Chelsea,
away against Liverpool,
Arsenal, or whoever.
Yeah, absolutely. Mate, that's it. So yeah, we're back again at 9 o'clock tonight. Just like I say, it's probably just going to be a panel chat about the week ahead, what's gone, what could be coming. So if there's any news coming up on that, if it's breaking news, I'm sure somebody will be out there and about to give you some breaking news. But if it's not, then it'll just be on tonight's show. We will talk about it. Again, thanks to everybody in the chat that's contributed. It's again a must. Makes the show so much better for me and Win to give to obviously bounce some ideas off each other and stuff like that. We've given you all the news that's going on in the background. There's not a lot out there, like I say.
Well, I'm going to be straight looking at this Man City court case.
It's not out there, mate. It's not out there. It's a laugh. He was joking. That's what he said in the comments. It was a joke, guys. And that's what I said. I looked straight on Manchester now. Yeah, exactly. I went to Man City now, and there's nothing there. Not a thing. It's just talking about, obviously, Rodri's injury and stuff like that.
And on that bombshell.
Yeah, there you go.
Good night from him.
And it's a good night from him. There you go. See you later.
The lads.
And lasses. Take it easy.